Welcome to the Super Facts Show on the Super Facts Network, featuring St.Laz, who also hosts the popular web series Gem Pop, and music journalist Mark Walter Ward. They have discussions about hip hop, culture, society, philosophy, and everything else. Now available on YouTube and wherever else you get your podcasts. What up, world? It's the Super Facts Show. Your boy Mark Walter Ward. Tonight we're joined by rapper singer Soaky Siren promoting her latest single, Top Gyal. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Man, I'm hanging in there. So did I get the pronunciation right?
Get it? You got it precise. You give me a little bit of the Y and the gal. I appreciate that. You did good.
So for those who might not be familiar with the subtle distinctions between that and the more traditional pronunciation, is there a difference in efficacy?
No, man. I think it's just it's a different. My dialect different. That's all it boiled down to. It's still the same thing.
Your that and your dialect. You're from the Bahamas, right?
Exactly.
So when you came to America, I don't know. I've only interacted with you for like 30 seconds, but you don't seem to be too pretentious. So I don't know. Do you consider yourself a celebrity at this point?
Not at all. I am literally writing my story every day as I go, and I just trying to live my purpose, and that's about it.
See, I need to know that to know how to phrase this question. But you would acknowledge that at least you're on the road to celebrity, and you're in a profession where you might get treated more kindly by people than somebody who just arrived here from the Bahamas who's.
I don't know. I'll have to see it. You know what I mean? Because it's one of them things where my perspective is just it
See,
been
because I'm curious as you've advanced in the rank. Let's say you're not a celebrity yet, but you're clearly advancing in the ranks of the music industry,
right.
and I'm just curious if you've noticed a way that being treated different by Americans than like as opposed to when you first came here.
Mm-mm. I honestly I feel like within the industry people may know that I've done certain things, but I wouldn't say that I have any perks or I think I get handled and I still just get certain forms of disrespect even within the business. So it's like I said, it's just still very grounded and just trying to be mindful that as a person at the end of the day. And I don't as celebrity is a funny word.
Word. So I could ask you about the disrespect. I could aggregate it, and put in the title and get some clicks, but I don't care about that type of stuff. What's some of the instances where you felt that you were especially appreciated or respected musically in the industry?
I feel like, well, I did get a nomination, a Latin Grammy nomination for a record that I had written on. So that was a moment. And then when I started releasing my own music, that was actually, it was like a surprising thing for me because people were just like super supportive and excited. And also, like, a lot of people were kind of like caught off guard because they didn't
Why
know.
why why was that surprising to you that they were super supportive? Was that lack of faith in the music, or you didn't think that they were gonna?
No, it was more so because I was coming from one side and emerging and I've been an artist from the day I was born, but like I have been operating in the capacity of a songwriter. So, when I presented my project and I'm like putting out my music and also like even like knowing how like the industry set up that, there's a lot of frauders and fakers and everybody ain't for you. Like this is a cutthroat industry at the end of the day. So, anytime you get any kind of grace, whenever you get a flower, you definitely, for me personally, I speak it for myself, it comes off as a shock sometimes because you don't get it every
All right.
day.
All right. Well, this will be the one negative aspect I'll ask you then, since you brought it up about having to fight for things. Has there
Yeah.
been situations where people have, and I'm not trying to just like yes or no, I'm not interested in who. Has there been situations where people have tried to play down your credit on a song that would change how much you receive from it financially?
Yeah, that has happened before. It has happened before. Not a regular occurrence though. But
So you personally, did you react directly to that party? Did you do it through like an agent or a manager or
my publisher is precise. Like they handle the smoke. And it,
And you know, again, steering away from the negativity, but just for artist advice. So having the precise publisher, what was the professional way to handle a situation like that?
in that case, because it wasn't for my artist stuff, it was for a song that I had written. And my publisher was very much a essential person to have the needed conversation that needed to be had.
Now, so you know, I'm not interested in negativity, but I am interested in the sometimes combative nature of music. Have you
Yeah.
ever, as a songwriter working for someone else, have you ever had to fight to get a portion of a song included that you felt had to be in there, and then were proven right in retrospect?
No, I feel like, I mean, you have moments where you have egos, and in a sense, I kind of know how to pivot when I identify those kinds of personalities. But for the most part, and I tend to collaborate with the same people, so there's an understanding in the process. So that doesn't happen very often. I can't say that I've had moments where like egos have definitely shown up, but I don't, me personally, I don't really entertain them things.
So you know, I've always been fascinated with the singer songwriter as like you know even as a genre, which I don't think it gets credited for. I think too much a singer songwriter just gets like labeled as either a rock star or a pop star or an R&B star, often just depending on their ethnicity, which seems like a ridiculous way to categorize music. But you know, I do like you know like people like James Taylor or Helen Reddy or I mean, there's just so many great singer songwriters, and there's
Yeah,
people like Bob Dylan who wrote songs for a lot of people. And when people got a Bob Dylan song, they basically just got a Bob Dylan song and they performed a Bob Dylan song.
yeah.
And then other people like you know I don't know, Marvin Gaye wrote a lot of songs for people in Motown, and
Hmm.
he tried to write songs that were reflective of the artist that he was writing for's strengths.
Yes.
So if someone was to come to you for songwriting, are they just getting a Soaky Siren song, which is already top flight, or are they getting something that's more tailored to them as an artist?
It could be either or. Sometimes I if I'm in the room and I creating from scratch with them, then I could get their perspective, I could get their lens. If it's just something that I had in the bag and it's lit, then then that's what you're gonna get.
You know,
So
I'm not trying to get too esoteric in the music stuff, but like I really find this fascinating. How do you personally gauge that? Like, which one's necessary?
I mean, I can't. A lot of things tend to run on like autopilot when you've established like a bit of an infrastructure. So like I
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but could feel be a synonym for autopilot?
could be. I mean, but in this case, I think autopilot is autopilot. Because what I mean is
Okay.
like, I have certain records that I say, for instance, they've been sitting on the shelf, and I have nothing to do with the fact that somebody heard it, the producer played it, or my publisher pitched it. So them kind of things that's out of my hand. That's an autopilot, and it essentially is kind of like, you know, that's just a matter of the universe conspiring to land it where it lands. So yeah.
Got you. So now, you know, moving towards being a solo artist, was that because, you know, you just felt certain songs you're creating deserved your voice? You had to, like, again, I don't see you as desiring the limelight particularly, even though like you do have quite visually compelling videos or is it just that you wanted to be able to display all facets of your creativity? Because I feel like you're definitely creative across a few mediums.
Yeah, I feel like people don't realize, but I was an artist first. Like what the songwriting was supposed to be a way in the door, and it turned into a full-fledged career. So for me, the fulfillment is like definitely in me telling my story, and also not having to play in the boxes that I have to play in when when you have to pitch a song or something like that. Like I feel like I deliver. I know my sound. I know the stories I want to tell, and I think I owe it to myself. And then also like I have a lot of, I representing my country sometimes. I'm representing myself personally. So I want to make sure I do that fully and precisely while I'm here.
So, how does one tell the story of being you from your country through your music? Like, is that something that just comes out, or do you set out to write a song like that, and then you know, without turning into a genius page, what does that look like in efficacy?
For me, the process varies, but in most cases, it's very stream of consciousness. Like especially with a lot of the rap stuff that I have, I feel like the songs, like when I'm singing, I tend to have to put a little more thought, and the process is a little more cerebral. But when I'm rapping and like a Top Gal, for instance, that was instinct. When I heard the bass line, I just started freestyling that, and I just that those kinds of songs tend to write themselves. So I don't usually set out per se. Like I feel like just inherently these stories exist, and it's just a matter of tapping into whatever that is when the time comes.
What level of headway are you making into the American rap community thus far?
It's been, I feel like it's still, I'm early, this is like ground level. I'm doing the work. I've been getting syncs in different films and series and shows and stuff like that. So I think, it's a slow and steady, this is a marathon. So I'm still early. Definitely, plugging and playing where I could play.
Have you interact? I know obviously COVID's made things hard for everybody, but have you interacted with many American rap artists?
Um, I feel like not personally because again, like you said, it's me and the pandemic, and also like I tend to be very insulated in terms of like who I'm creating with, isolated. I work with the same people, and like I kind of just be in the trenches, worrying about my own lane. But eventually I feel like just with the team that I have, we're gonna start making those conversations, or having those conversations, because
Well,
yeah.
maybe not necessarily even like collabing with them. I'm talking about just like meeting them at venues and things of that nature.
Oh, no, not yet. And like the pandemic really came and just
Yeah.
all the vibes. So, but I'm looking forward to outside opening back up so I can do that.
Are you out in California?
Yeah. I got
So yeah, you're definitely not mingling at the venues or nothing.
no, there ain't no venues right now. So I am patiently waiting for that to change because I ready to get on stage and just start meeting and performing. I like it, just the vibes, man. I miss the audience.
Well, speaking of vibes, and you out there in California where everything's cut down, and I'm not gonna lie, you definitely you seem to got like a healthy aura about you, definitely a very positive energy. How have you been maintaining like keeping things balanced? And in your case, I mean, I hesitate to say radiant because I don't want to be hyperbolic, but you seem at peace.
The light radiating. Just don't mind this. Don't think there's a halo though.
Oh, no, oh yeah, now I ain't talking. I don't think you about to ascend to the heavens on some.
Right?
Ah.
Exactly. No, I mean, listen, I talk to my family, like that's what really keeps me grounded, even though I'm not home. Like I talk to my mommy like sometimes 3 times a day. I start my days out usually on the phone with one of my besties. So it feels like in fact, one of my best friends in Nassau, I pretty much am in Nassau running errands with her on the phone. So I still feel like I'm home. So
You
that
mean like you hear talking to like clerks and stuff and all that type stuff?
bank line, and she on the line at RBC, and I right there with her. And somebody, she on the road and she having road rage, I ready to turn up the same way with her. So I think that has helped a lot because otherwise I'd be very isolated, and because I live by myself too. So it's definitely a process, and also like an exercise in discipline, because I still have to move forward with this project that I putting out. So I have to keep my energy up. I have to stay accountable to myself, because at the end of the day, that's all you have. You gotta, it's up to you. Nobody's gonna build what you see in your head like you do. So I have to try and push myself every day. Every day ain't easy, but for the most part, I try to keep that, and the family time and the communication definitely keeps me grounded.
Several times now you've referenced to either your vision for things or telling your story, and obviously I don't know what it's like to move to America from the Bahamas as a male or a female. So what is that story? What are some of the, it don't gotta be no struggles. It could be some, great things, some how great the Bahamian community is. Like I hate how everybody automatically assumes that because someone's an immigrant that they're in some like horrible situation or something. But
Yeah.
it is a unique situation. So
Mhm.
what is the story? What is it like coming to America? What were your observations? You
Well,
know,
to be fair, like a lot of people, when they hear that I'm from the Bahamas, they assume it's like sunshine and sea and beach parties every day. And I think again, while that may be a truth for a tourist, but for me personally, that's not the scope of things. And that's also a part of my story as well, which is bringing my perspective from us as Bahamian people, from me being a part of, um, I don't come from money. At the end of the day, my mommy raised all us by herself, and she had very hard times doing so. So I essentially,
But did you cross paths with those rich tourists while you were struggling with money?
you don't avoid that, because the thing is, you're on an island. So like, not to say that, it's like you want things to be super segregated, but it's just hard to not really see it because you're on an island. So, and a lot of times the places that we go to turn up, like for instance, this place called Port Lakaya, that's also a tourist destination. So you kind of catch that. And
Is that spelled Croix?
no, Port Lakaya, Port, and then Lucaya. On
Okay.
yeah, so like that's like, it's kind of hard to really not be in the same spaces. Um, and again, it's not even like it's not an awkward experience. It's just it is what it is. It's kind of like being adjacent to people that have, and my mother is, she raised all of us. She worked hard, and those are the mantras, and those are the examples that we saw growing up. And I just feel like that's the real experience for me personally. So I try to.
How much opportunity is it there for a young person, as far as like work opportunities and scholastically?
Um, we got some work to do scholastically, but I feel like we are in a season where the entrepreneur is able to thrive now, because there's just the economy is, we're in a tough place, like a lot of countries, because of this
Right.
pandemic. But even before, um, there's opportunity if you are a hustler. Like you definitely do have to hustle, and there are a lot of things that we have to address as a nation in terms of how things move. But for the most part, it's just you have to have that. You have to have the drive. Like for me, I was like, I wasn't getting supported when I was. I remember going to radio stations, and at the time, it wasn't easy for me to do that. So I was like, all right, when I know I got to come forward at some point, and I could set up a thing, I could set up a thing, and that's what I did. So, but now, like, tides have turned, and now, like, we have a thriving creative community as well, where Bahamian artists are supporting one another, and radio stations are also supporting them. So, there's definitely a forward motion overall.
Do you think something like having the worldwide digital streaming platforms like Spotify and that has contributed to the support? Because if one Bahamian artist gets on one another song, and now all of a sudden their fans, there's a lot of cross pollination.
That would be good. That would be
Because you
dope.
said if the radio didn't play you, maybe the radio station doing stuff like that created an environment that would cause artists not to work together because like they're naturally rivals to get those few slots on the radio.
Yeah, but it's changed a lot since then, though. So, like,
That's
now,
good.
like, it's definitely evolved, and there's a lot of support for local artists and stuff now. So,
So that must do your heart good to see that.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Like it was so good to see, especially when I went home, and like I said, there's a creative community where like it just seems like it's kind of like this ecosystem of talent that's just thriving right now. So that's
And so
that's
then you came to America and you immediately got on as a songwriter. Is there a transition period?
immediately. I wouldn't say immediately. It was very much it was very difficult at the end of the day. Like, anytime you're starting from scratch, you have it's proven grounds all the time, right? So nobody takes you seriously until a couple people start co-signing, and then, I also am a woman at the end of the day. So like me, especially when it comes to like, it's a male dominated business. And at the beginning, like I was in a lot of sessions trying to do like rap hooks and work with whoever I could work with. And most of the time these are men. So at the time, like I had moments where I was just like, bruh, come on. So it wasn't easy. It wasn't no shortcuts, and it wasn't no quick climb.
Do you feel like, you take the name Siren and then you insert yourself into a business where you're clearly going to get judged by your looks? Do you feel at any point that that's had a detrimental effect on your mental health or self-esteem?
Not really. Not really. Because I lately, like, especially I've learned like you gotta log off and stay out of the comments, and also like it's easier said than done, but understand, like, a lot of times people talk it when someone, especially if you a grown ass person, if you could say something about if you could publicly come for somebody aesthetic and look and memorialize that in a public forum, you are projecting. That's a you problem. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
Right.
weird to do that. You know,
And
like,
yeah.
I don't love everybody face, you know, and I don't think people ain't always love how I look. But at the same time, I can respect that and be okay and not project any negativity on that. You know, everybody have their taste. You know, social media is a little weirdish that way.
Yeah. So let's talk about, apologies to your publicist. Let's talk about some of the musical stuff. So you have a song that's on the EA soccer game, which is, a humongous video game seller, and it's featured in a FIFA virtual world campaign.
I performed at the virtual world premiere for the actual for the soundtrack for FIFA, and the single is on the Volta soundtrack. So that was the song is called MIA. It was a single before this one that I'm delivering to you today, and that was exciting, man. It was unexpected and it was exciting.
Have you seen the song played at like a soccer game?
I mean, we inside, so I ain't been seeing. I've been like, I kind of have to catch people like in their game rooms, and like some people will message me and be like, "Yo, this my song, this my gold song," you know, and I'm just like, "Hey, I wish I could see it in real time, but like we inside."
Well,
So
congratulations! I see it's the number one stream song on that whole soundtrack. So that's impressive for any top selling EA Sports game.
thank you, and it's on. And to be fair, it's not on the main soundtrack; it's on the Volta soundtrack, which I still appreciate.
Well, I
So
mean, well, that makes it even more impressive. There's the most streamed song. That speaks to the quality of the song.
true, I see that, I get that, I get that. I'm excited about that too.
So let's take it all the way back. In your bio, it says you used to rap in the closet.
Yeah, I used to write.
Why?
No, I didn't. It wasn't like rapping in the closet. I was writing in the closet. So I would like hole away in my mommy closet, and I would just pen my bars and just be completely like isolated and just
It helps you focus.
yeah. And then I felt like that was my way to disconnect from everything else.
Yeah, I didn't think it was no weirdo shit. I thought probably it probably helped you focus and maybe some visualization.
Hmm.
That sounds like stuff that sports psychologists recommend people do.
See, I was on to something then, low key.
Yeah, well, clearly.
Hey,
So how would you explain to a total novice what can I might not say the word right, kombucha is?
kombucha, kombucha.
Yeah, I mean clearly it's something to drink.
Yeah, it's a fermented tea that is that has probiotic properties. They love it because yeah.
So hold on. You made that ridiculous bop of a song about say it again, a fermented tea that has what properties?
Probiotic properties. But listen, give me a second. I
Damn.
the kombucha is a metaphor, man. Like I wasn't the intention wasn't to go and be like, get on this drink. It was literally because of probiotic, the beverage itself is supposed to have cleansing properties. So at the time, I was in a space where I was like, bruh, I need to cleanse my circle because it was looking really muddy waters with people and their motives around me. And that day that I was in the studio with Shy Girls who produced the song, he was like, I have this track, but I want to go. Let's go to the corner store. I want to get a kombucha, and so we go to the corner store and we come back and he played a track. And that first sample, the minute I heard that, I was like, yeah. So it kind of like somehow it manifested in my mind between the space of us going for that walk and going to the corner store and coming back. And then the metaphor just stood for what I was feeling at the time.
Okay, well, you guys, excuse me, I didn't catch the metaphor because I didn't know what kombucha was really.
Oh, good. It's a cleanse. It's a drink that cleanses. And I was like,
Well, I mean, the song go hard, so now I listen to it again and appreciate the lyrics even more.
there we go. That part. That part.
So you said you chose Siren as part of your artist name because it came from your friends who read the Art of Seduction.
Yeah.
Did you ever read the relevant passages?
No, I feel like I might have glanced it one time, but I didn't retain anything. I just when she gave it to me, when she told me it, she gave me a pendant. It's my bestie Jody, and she was like, "This pendant, this S ain't for Soaky, this for Siren," and I was like, "Fine," and I literally just ran with that, and I was like, "It is what it is."
Do you know at least if it's like the same as like them?
The Mermaid Jones.
Yeah, yeah, the Jones would be like calling the sailors and then killing them.
I feel like something maybe. I feel like there may be a tie in that. Yeah, I think so. I know. I don't want to say nothing divine if I can't confirm fully by reading the passage. So I just
Right.
that one I'll investigate. I'll have to get back to you.
Plus, I mean, let's keep it real. Soaky Siren sound cool as shit.
Yeah, I'll take it. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Man, you know it sound badass. You all humble and shit.
I tell you, I just be cooler, man. I know. I just do what I do. I just show up with the name. I can't take credit for it. So I'm like, if people them like it, then I love it.
I mean, you can take credit for making it known.
Well, well, see, you got perspective. I like that. I feel you. I like that. That's true.
Well, you know, one way I try to gain perspective is I ask people who know about things that there's no way I could possibly know. And one thing I'm curious about is, you know, for those who aren't in the know, a Latin Grammy is everything that a Grammy is. What's it like being nominated and winning?
Well, I didn't win. I
Oh,
only
you
got.
didn't win. You just got nominated. So what's it like being nominated? I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Oh, you're good. I was in disbelief when I found out. It was exciting because it's just again like you make these songs and you don't really once you put them into the world, they out of your hands completely and fully. So it was really inspiring, really exciting. It was crazy to go to the award show and like I was like, okay, there we go. Hopefully I could secure a couple more. But if not, I mean, I'm just grateful for that because that again, that wasn't something that I expected, and it's yet another one of those things that kind of just lets you know, like, okay, you on the path and you walking in the direction you should be.
So you've had like some incredible highs. Have you ever suffered the dreaded imposter syndrome?
Definitely, definitely, because my thing is my bar, like my my bar. Like you see my hand out of frame because it's really really high up there for myself, not necessarily from people. So like a lot of times I'm just like, okay, yeah, but I supposed to be doing this or I supposed to be doing that or this, and that's something that I have to work on and I'm still working on. But I definitely, it's terrible because you downplay the accomplishments or you're like super. It's almost like disrespecting your blessing if you do it too much. So I'm trying to like work on that because it,
You just you got to try to balance enjoying your wins as much as you hate your losses. You know what I mean?
that part, that part.
You know, but just don't spend too much time doing it
Yeah.
because then you won't have as many wins.
See, so that balance is key, key.
So things are starting to open up back where you at, and I'm sure you're gonna start having the ability to tour. Obviously from your numbers, there's gonna be a demand to see you perform and things of that nature. And I know you've got music recorded. Well, what do you have planned for the rest? And here's a generic, boring question, but I'm sure you have an interesting answer. What do you have planned for the rest of the year with the music?
I'm patiently waiting for outside to open back up so I could actually like travel and because I want to play shows. Like I getting ready to go to rehearsal now. So, you know, even now I'm like I'm gonna start doing some live stream sets even. Um, I'm rolling out an EP this year, so it's gonna be a single following this and then a single following that. The video for Top Gyal coming in 2 weeks. So like definitely it's just I just big forward motions for me this year and also just trying to get in as many markets as possible and just playing and just, live the life of an artist as much as I can in these strange times.
All right, from what you've seen of me thus far, interacting with me,
Mhm.
do you think you're a better rapper or a better singer?
Ooh, I feel like you like the rap.
Not like what I think you're better at.
I think I better at that.
Uh,
I
I,
wrote
I, I love to rap, but you could definitely sing.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'll take that.
I feel your singing is on such a level that it's so undeniable that no matter what, you'll be able to sustain yourself professionally singing. That where you're rapping, you're gonna have to fight amongst a group of people, fight the clutter to catch people's ear.
That's good to know. That's good to know. And I
But you definitely be spitting, you know.
thank you. Trust me, I got some singing on the way too. So I'm happy to hear that because at least I know that that should have a warm welcome when it drops.
What do you think that you're better at? Because you said you set the bars impossibly high, but I guarantee you ain't set them
I
possibly or impossibly even.
I can't say what I'm better at yet. I feel like I'm more comfortable rapping.
Yeah,
But yeah, because that was my I started, that was my stomping grounds thing.
got you.
Hmm.
Well, well, I mean that I can't really think of anything else except that drop your socials, what you what you're working on, what you want to promote. But is there anything I missed on that I should have asked you about?
Nah, you covered everything. I feel like, yeah, you covered everything. My socials, you could definitely link me on Soaky Siren, is Soaky Siren, SoakySiren on all platforms. It's the same across all of them. And yeah, just more bops on the way. So please, I definitely got to keep you posted on when the video drop too. I'll keep you up to date.
I'm definitely looking forward to that, and I'd love to talk to you again down the road.
Oh, that's easy.
I
That's
will.
easy.
Well, shoot, I'll definitely stay in contact, and thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me. Definitely, feel free to run the thing whenever. And we could do it. We could do this another time.
All right. Well, thank you very much. You have a good night.
You too. Please.
All right. Nice to meet you.
The Gem Pop Podcast. In this show, St.Laz will bring you the unfiltered truth of what really goes on inside of correctional facilities, and he holds nothing back. Sometimes hilarious, sometimes disturbing, and always memorable. Laz will tell you just how barbaric, unnecessary, and damaging mass incarceration is, from the inmates, their families, all the way to the over-policed communities the cycles begin in. You can watch all these stories on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to St.Laz on YouTube at st.laz on YouTube.